Hey everyone, I wanted to do a Facebook Live to talk about the Bitkey hardware wallet as compared to the Ledger first, and then the Trezor. The Bitkey is awesome in every conceivable way, and I wanted to do a quick side-by-side comparison of how easy it is to set each one up, but I had this idea. The idea is, what if I started by doing a video about how easy it is to purchase the Bitkey as compared to the others. And then I will do a part 2 video where I give a Bitkey, a Ledger, and a Trezor to 3 different people and ask them to set them up and see how much easier it is to do the Bitkey as compared to the others. So first of all, I'll start with the Bitkey and just show you how easy it is on the Bitkey. Literally, the Bitkey, you go to their website, and you can just add it to your cart. It's super simple. There's no decisions to be made. There's no explanations of compare the different hardware because there's only one. It's exactly like anything should be. You click buy now, and here's your basket. And if you want one, you check out, and then you go to the payment page, and it lets you pay for it. I mean, it's literally that simple. You enter your address, and you buy it, and you can pay with Cash App or credit card or any of this other stuff, and then you just buy it, and it's like literally that simple. Okay, so that is Bitkey. It's like super unbelievably, insanely simple. Okay, so last night when I had this idea, at like 3 o'clock in the morning to give one of each of these to 3 different people side by side and have them all set them up at the same time and see how much easier it is to set up the Bitkey as compared to the others. So about 3 or maybe 3:30 in the morning, I decided to buy a Ledger and a Trezor device. I couldn't sleep last night, so I rolled over, I grabbed my phone, I opened up the Ledger and the Trezor website, and I want to walk you through how much more complicated it is even to decide to buy one of those devices. So give me 1 second to get a drink, and I'll walk you through it. Okay, so here we are on ledger.com. Okay, so first off, they've got 2 complicated Ledger devices up at the top. You can shop the holiday offers, and there's a bunch of that. But if you scroll down, at least thankfully, they give you a compare Ledger wallets option. Okay, but now you've got 4 different options. Instead of just one nice, clean, easy to understand option, you've got 4 different options. Now, each of them have different prices. Now, for some reason on my phone, they were showing me all of the prices in Canadian dollars last night, which makes no sense because my IP address said I was in the United States. My GPS said I was in the United States. I was very much in the United States yesterday and today, but for some reason it was showing Canadian dollars and I couldn't figure out how to turn that off until after I got through the end. Okay, so let's assume you look at these and you're like, I don't know what these ones with how am I supposed to know if I want a Ledger Stacks or a Ledger Flex? And then you have to do all these product comparisons to figure out if you want a $400 or a $250 or a $150 or an $80 device. Again, way too much for the average person to have to figure out. But if you scroll down, it's not obvious which ones you need. Okay, so even if you discount the 2 on the left and say, I just need a simple hardware device to keep my Bitcoin, well, you still got, do you need the Ledger Nano X or do you need the Ledger Nano S Plus? Well, you scroll down and eventually you figure out, if you look very closely, that one of them has Bluetooth and the other doesn't. And if you look very closely, you realize one of them only supports Android and not iOS, right? So iOS, meaning your Apple iPhone, is down here, and it says works on desktop and iOS and Android. This says works on desktop and Android. But again, it's going to take your average person a little bit of time to figure out that, oh, I have an iPhone, which means I can't use the Ledger Nano S Plus, and instead I need the Ledger Nano X. Again, I don't know why they don't just put that, up front and center, but then you go through and it tells you all different things about compatibility and a bunch of complicated stuff that you just don't have to deal with any of this stuff when you buy a Bitkey, because there's literally one Bitkey and you push yes or no, which is what you should have to do. Okay, so let's assume that we've done the due diligence to find out that we don't want the 2 on the left because they're expensive and they have a bunch of features we don't need. And we can't use the one on the right, the Ledger Nano S Plus, because it doesn't support the iPhone. So we're going to click on the add to cart for the Ledger Nano X. Now, rather than just letting us buy this thing, now we're hit with another thing is, do I want the enhanced peace of mind of Ledger Recover? And now I have to figure out what Ledger Recover is. and why it costs me $99 for a 1-year subscription. And I have to find out, why do I need a backup to access my wallet? So I got to read through all of that. Then they want to know, do I want a 3-year replacement plan for an extra $20? And again, this is stuff that nobody should have to figure out. Nobody should have to go through the mental energy of figuring out not only which of 4 different ledger devices do I need, but now, do I need the subscription? Do I not need the subscription? Do I need the extended warranty? Do I not need the extended warranty? You got to read up all of that. Okay, so then I'm going to click no, I do not want the subscription, which of course is going to make everybody nervous of like, what, am I going to lose my Bitcoin because I'm not paying them $99 per month? Okay, so I click no and I click no. And then, okay, so then it lets me skip. If I click no twice, it lets me skip. Okay, and then it says it's going to cost me this, blah, blah, blah. Oh, now it's telling me, it's asking me if I want a CryptoSteel Capsule Solo, CryptoTag Zeus, Nanopod, and asks me all this other stuff. Well, why would I even need all this stuff? The answer is because with a ledger and with a Trezor, you need to write down a 12 or 24 word seed phrase, which you do not have to do on Bitkey because Bitkey solved that problem without the complexity. But now you got to decide, are you going to spend anywhere from, what is it, $200, there's a backup pack, there's a billfold, which is $99. There's some options for up to, $139. Basically, am I going to spend $39 or am I going to spend $139 or $74 or $99 to make sure that my seed phrase does not burn in a fire? And then again, all of these are questions that if I recommended a ledger product to somebody, they're going to text me over and over and over. Do I need the backup option? Do I need the extended warranty? Do I need to buy a CryptoSteel? And the answer is, yeah, but you got to put your seed phrase somewhere. Otherwise, if it, your ledger burns up in a fire and so does your seed phrase, it's gone. Again, Bitkey does not have that problem. So there's all this complexity. Then you finally make all those decisions. And I guess at that point, yeah, they let you check out. But again, all of those are decisions I should not have to make. You should not have to make. Nobody should have to make. Okay, so let's flip over. We're done here on Ledger. We'll go back to their homepage, and let's flip over to Trezor. Okay, now Trezor is a little simpler. Again, you can go to products, just like with Ledger here. You can click on products. Now, the products give you a lot of options: the Flex, the Stacks, the Nano X, the Nano S Plus. Then they have a comparison, hardware devices, all that. Well, the Trezor has the same thing. You click on products, and again, now you've got the Trezor Safe 5, the Trezor Safe 3, and the Trezor Mod 1. Of course, the 1 says ONE, and instead of, why are these Safe 5 and Safe 3, and this is 1, and why is the ONE spelled out versus the 3 and the 5 is a numeric number? And then, of course, it's asking you about wallet onboarding. Do you want to spend $99 for somebody to help you get set up? Which, if it wasn't so complicated, you wouldn't even need it. And then do you want a $99 metal backup of your seed phrase, which again, you don't need any of that with the Bitkey. It solves all of that without all of this stuff. Okay, so that's your it says you can compare them. Now, if you ask for all products and accessories, again, then there's a dizzying array of different models, different accessories, $99 to onboard you. There's all sorts of, options. There's a gazillion different options for backing up all your different stuff. There's lanyards and there's, all this stuff. I could keep clicking load more, and there's just like an unlimited amount of things to throw you off, to make you, feel like you're in over your head. Way too complicated. I don't know how many times I can click more till, okay, finally, this stops feeding me more and more and more and more and more stuff on all this. There's just a dizzying array of stuff. But let's go back to their homepage, and let's just assume I want to do something simple, which is I want to get a Trezor. So I click on it. Okay, so they give me 3 models. And then once again, I have the same problem. I got to figure out which one do I want. So I got to scroll down and, which one, and, this one's got Gorilla Glass, this one doesn't. This other one supports different tokens. I can check my tokens. But again, all I'm trying to figure out is what do I need to buy here? What do I need to buy here? And you scroll and scroll and scroll, and some of them have USB-A and some of them have USB-C. And, then you realize, okay, iOS is view only. So apparently on all Trezors, you can only use your iPhone for view only, but you can't use it for the rest of the stuff. Now, last night at 3:30 in the morning when I was finally done messing with Ledger and I was ready to buy a Trezor, I ultimately determined, for reasons I can't even remember, that I decided to buy the Trezor Safe 5 because I thought, well, I'm going to give them the best possible chance, and it has a touchscreen. So if I'm going to do a comparison of how easy it is to set up a Bitkey versus a Ledger versus a Trezor, if we go back to the Ledger here, the Ledger, the option is ultimately obvious because we want a reasonably priced one that works with iOS, so that we, bought the Ledger Nano X, so that's what I got. Over here on Trezor, it's not clear why I need one versus the other. But I figure, okay, the price tag of $169 versus the Bitkey is normally $149, although it's on sale right now for $99. And the Ledger was $149, so that made the Ledger Nano X and the Bitkey the same price, except the Bitkey's on sale at $99 right now. So I decided, okay, I'm going to pay the $169 to get the Trezor Safe 5. There was some other reason, but I can't remember now. But again, I should not have to answer when somebody calls me and says, hey, I'm going to get a Trezor. Which one do I get? The Model 1, the Model 3, the Safe 5? I should not have to answer that. You should not have to answer that. Nobody should have to answer that. Also, and I'll get this to this in a minute. So I picked the Safe 5. Okay, so let's go ahead and buy the Safe 5. All right, there we go. So now it wants, do I want a $99 onboarding session? Do I want a $99 Trezor Keep Metal 20 word? Do I want a crypto tag? Do I want a wallet backup? All of these things are things I have to answer that I shouldn't have to answer. And somewhere in here, it's going to ask me, I don't know why, but last night it asked me when I clicked on it, it gave me the option, okay, here we go. Oh, now I have to decide, do I want the Bitcoin only version, which is up here, or do I want the universal hardware wallet? And then of course I have to, it goes through and explains to me why, you would want one versus why you would want the other. And it's just complexity that nobody should have to deal with. But anyway, I ultimately bought the Bitcoin only version because I figure if I'm trying to give Trezor, if I'm trying to be fair to Trezor about how easy it is to set up, I at least need to make it as simple as possible by comparing the Bitcoin only Bitkey with the Bitcoin only Trezor. So anyway, so that's what I ultimately chose, was that. But then again, you get hit with all of these different options on, like, do you want, do you want the onboarding? Do you want the metal backup? All this stuff you don't have to deal with Bitkey because Bitkey is so simple and it's beautiful and I love it. Okay, so for some reason here, it's not showing. Okay, so apparently I had two of them and I don't know, again, it's confusing here. So I did the Bitcoin only, but it's still asking me, do I want to, bumper safe, blah, blah, blah. And then when I check out, it asks me again, finally, it's going to let me order. I'll select Mississippi. There was something else wonky in here that I got into. Okay, continue. Okay, then you have to fill it out and then you buy it. But anyway, the process of each of those, even for me, who is very sophisticated, it took me 10 or 15 minutes on the Ledger website to come to the definitive conclusion that the Ledger Nano X was the one I should buy as a comparison device. And it took me another, 10 or 15 minutes on the Trezor website to realize that the Trezor Safe 5 Bitcoin only was the one I would buy as a comparison to Bitkey. And I just wanted to point out, I don't got to deal with any of that with Bitkey. If somebody says, should I buy a Bitkey? The answer is yes or no. It is so simple. There is no seed phrases. There is no hammering seed phrases into metal steel plates. There's no, accidentally you lose your Bitcoin because a piece of paper got water on it. There's none of this $99 onboarding because you don't need it. It is literally so simple that I will help you myself. And people just never need any help because it's literally so simple. I mean, it's just brilliant. You either buy a Bitkey or you don't. It is so beautiful. You buy it or you don't. It's a blatantly clear yes or no question. There is just gorgeously little simple, little complexity. It's just brilliantly simple. And when I asked 3 different people to set up the Bitkey, as compared to set up from scratch the Ledger, as compared to set up from scratch the Trezor, which I will do. I will get 3 different people. I will line them all up at a table. I will give one of them the Trezor, one of them the Ledger, one of them the Bitkey. And my plan is, I think if whoever I get to set up the Trezor or the Ledger, if they can beat in speed, if they can show me a QR code that I can send them Bitcoin to faster, than whoever is setting up Bitkey, my inclination is to give that person $1,000. Because I just don't think there's any way anybody's going to get a Trezor or a ledger set up in the amount of time it takes to set up a Bitkey. It's just the complexity of a Trezor and a ledger are just completely non-viable, in my opinion, for the kind of people I help with Bitcoin. I mean, I am not helping technologically sophisticated people who are systems engineers and just want to experience technological complexity. That is not the kind of people I typically help on a daily basis. I'm helping people that want the simplest way possible to preserve their wealth for the long haul, where they're not going to accidentally lose it, and it's not going to get hacked, and it's not going to get scammed, and it's just easy and straightforward. So for all of those reasons, Bitkey is brilliant. It is beautiful. It does all of those things very well. It is easy to buy. It is easy to set up. It is easy to use. It is just brilliant, beautiful, gorgeous. And other than Bitcoin itself, which is, just the most amazing thing invented this century, the Bitkey device may be the second most amazing thing that was invented this century. It is just a gorgeously, beautifully elegant product that the folks over at Square/Block, which is run by Jack Dorsey, the founder of Twitter, and also the founder of Square/Block, which makes payment terminals. It's a major publicly traded company. They run the Cash app, so it's very sophisticated group of people that are very very security conscious, and they have just knocked it out of the park with this thing. So when I get a chance, I will do that comparison, that side-by-side comparison of Bitkey, Ledger, and Trezor. I will give one to each person, and we will see which one's easier to set up. I know it's Bitkey. I'm just curious how much faster and how much easier it is to set up a Bitkey as compared to a Ledger or a Trezor. And in the case of Ledger and Trezor, it's a lot easier to accidentally lose your Bitcoin. It's a lot easier to just accidentally mess something up. With Bitkey, it's brilliant, it's straightforward, it's simple, and I love it. So this is not a sponsored video. Again, not a sponsored video. I just love this product because it's awesome in every conceivable way, and I want as many people as possible to benefit from that awesomeness. So thank you, everyone, and I will stop the video from here, and I will do a side-by-side comparison as soon as I get the chance. Thanks, everyone.